One ancient nation with a unique cultural heritage and also beautiful environment now actually dying. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, some kind of cultural genocide is taking place.
The Chinese have been systematically, since they came into Tibet, trying to wipe out all the Tibetan culture, Tibetan language, and most importantly, Buddhism.
Has China made any positive changes in Tibet? They claim to have liberated the serfs.
Obviously, the Chinese have done so many good things, but at the cost of more than 1 million Tibetan, at the cost of 6,000 monasteries, at the cost of rising temperature that we have never seen in the history of Tibetan, the cost of dumping nuclear waste, at the cost of polluting Tibet's water, when they know that 47% of the world population depends on Tibet's water, at the cost of more than 50% of the forest being cut.
Nothing can defeat an idea, and the idea is freedom.
Reverend Bill Cruz from the Uniting Church Exodus Foundation is critical not only of the Chinese occupation of Tibet, but of our government's reluctance to demand freedom for Tibet. So is it a cultural and religious genocide?
Yes, with bells on. Bells and whistles. And we in the West are standing by and letting it happen because we want to ship to China all the goods we can. Our silence is being bought, just like Judas was being bought, you know. Terrible.
The Australian government usually speaks about human rights, democracy, freedom, justice. And I think it's time to set an example through supporting Tibet. And when someone supports Tibet, it's not just they're supporting Tibetans, they're supporting non-violence, they're supporting peace, they're supporting compassion, they're supporting negotiation, reconciliation.
One Australian who has taken on the challenge to bring the issue of Tibet to the world is documentary maker Lara Damiani. She quit her job and sold her belongings to fund her film, The Tibet Project.
As human beings and as members of a global community, we have a responsibility to everyone around us and not just people in our own country. We also have a responsibility to issues such as basic human rights and because we are living in a free world and we can talk openly and we can demonstrate and we can have an impact, we should be able to use that to benefit others who cannot speak and who are oppressed.
Lara's documentary will be released in Australia later this year. Throughout her journey, she has spoken to many who have been deeply affected by the way the Chinese are running Tibet.
There was a nun that I spoke to who, at the age of 16, was put into prison. She and a friend of hers who was 14 at the time took part in a peaceful demonstration in Tibet against the Chinese occupation. Her 14-year-old friend, also a nun at the time, actually died as a result of the torture that was inflicted on her.
We try our best.
Lara was also given interviews with the Dalai Lama and the Prime Minister of the exiled Tibetan government.
They can only silently weep, cry, and experience the torture. And that is our destiny. But we have the unshakable faith that we are not wrong. Our issue is based on truth and justice. We might have to wait for a long period of time. We might have to suffer so much. The people might have to suffer, but at the end, the truth will prevail. This is our belief. So on this belief, we are continuing.
And they are determined to continue with or without their spiritual leader.
Even if there is one single Tibetan on this planet, the struggle will continue.